Hey guys, so today, I'm totally excited to talk about something really awesome that I have found a few years ago actually at a comic book store, and it is this, which is the Chronicles of Amber. And if you guys have ever heard of the story, it's amazing. It's a long story. There are like 10 books written by Roger Zelazny. And yeah, I found these at a comic book shop, and I was just amazed. And yeah, it was basically on sale for $1. These things are so hard to find that I've never seen this any other time, and I am just like super lucky to find this at a comic book store that, especially on sale, they're just trying to get rid of it. So Amber is really cool. Basically, it's this is the comic book version of the novel. It's basically the story goes that there is like one true world named Amber, and that all other worlds are just a shadow of that one true world. So Amber is real, and all the other worlds can kind of be like moved through as if they were just shadows, and you can play like playing with the light of the other worlds will change those worlds, and you can go from one world to the next. But basically the only people that can go travel these shadow worlds, in which like the current world, the modern world is actually one of the shadow worlds of Amber. But basically everyone that lives in those shadow worlds live in those shadow worlds. But it's the people that inhabit Amber, the real world, are the ones that can just kind of like move through, shift through all of these other planes of existence. However, Amber is real, and you can't really change its reality. Whatever it is, it's completely solid. It's really interesting. And as you can see, like here, basically everybody, he's holding a tarot card with his name on it. Corwin, right? And so this is really interesting because back when I was reading this, yeah, this came out, I just looked at the year that this came out. These were printed in '96, and the story's way before '96. It's way, sometime in the '80s, I think, maybe even before that, I don't know. But basically, what's interesting about this, it's such a premonition because there's only like this story's 9 princes in Amber. So there's basically a certain amount of people that actually do live in Amber. These people, there's only like a bunch of them. There's one king, there's a prince, the king rules over Amber, and then the other people kind of like just rule under them. But they all have their own like empires within this great, amazing world. So what's interesting is they all have this deck of tarot cards, and what they do is, if they want to contact each other, they pull out the deck of tarot cards, find the card with the person they want to talk to on the card, and they walk through the card into wherever that other person is. So they actually like travel through those dimensions through these little cards. And it's such an analogy of like what cell phones are today. Like we carry these little kind of like card-like cell phones with us, and we kind of like walk through them into wherever we want to go. You know, we just dial up the person, and we can't walk through the cell phone but you know, it's just so, this is a fantasy story, so it was funny. It was written before cell phones, and now it's like, yeah, it's sort of like having a cell phone is like, you know, having a deck of cards with everyone's name on it that you can kind of talk to each other through it. Yeah, they can also like talk to each other through the card as well as walk through the card, but they can walk through all dimensions and shit. So I don't know if you guys have ever read the book. The books are amazing. I still haven't read all of them. Honestly, I read the first half of the story. There's like 10 books, and I think I read the first 5 or 4 or 5. It really did, I don't know if it picks back up, but it really did drop off after like the 4th or 5th book. It felt like all of the story was already been told, and there was like they just started talking about, like, the writer, Roger Zelazny, just started talking about other things, like non-fantasy in the story. Like, this was supposed to be a fantasy story, with, like, dimensions and things, and, you know, and walking through these fantasy worlds, which is what was so great about it. But then somewhere along the way, they just kind of started telling other stories about the characters, but they were just like different stories with different characters living in different worlds. And I don't know if the story, if it picks back up and kind of like goes back into the main story and more of the fantasy stuff. I don't know if that happens. I just couldn't keep reading it. I do have the book that has the Great Book of Amber, which has all of those stories in it. But I just can't get through. I mean, maybe I'll pick it up again and see if the story goes. But it's like I've been reading and reading and reading, and it's really not true to the fantasy first 4 or 5 books. Once it gets into the 6th and 7th book and whatever, it's just not the same story. So I mean, I'm pretty. I mean, maybe like other people will love it. It's just me that I just think that it's really not the same story anymore. But the comic book is absolutely fantastic. It, of course, I don't have all of the issues of the comic book. It is, there's like, I've got the 9 Princes in Amber, 2 of those out of 3, and the Guns of Avalon, 2 of those out of 3. And I'll just show you, the art is cool, like the cover art is cool, right? And when you flip through it, the interior art is also cool. It's good. It's actually, I would say the way comic books go, this art is an 8 out of 10. It's a total 8 out of 10. I mean, it's just that I'm used to comic books having a beautiful front cover and then mediocre art inside. And whenever you get even something that's decent, just call it 8 out of 10, because you're not gonna get, I mean, as long as like stuff is being drawn and it's actually good, you know, the art is good. It's just that the time it takes, you know, the deadlines of these comic books that come out, and the artist, and how much time the artist has to put into each page of the comic book, and the fact that this is DC, and the fact there's maybe like 25 pages in this, and maybe the guy has a month or 2 at the most to draw this, it really is a lot of work. This is made by DC, and yes, these are probably, I haven't looked for the other ones online, but these are probably really, really hard to find. I mean, these are really cool. If you guys know about Amber and Roger Zelazny, I really like his writing. You know, but these Amber story comics are like, yeah, they're good, but they're really, really hard to find. I would say the comics are good, but they don't really tell the story. The story is huge. I mean, the novel is huge, and these comics are kind of thin, and they do kind of like tell some of the story. It's nice when you already know the story, or if you don't know the story, to read these, because they seem to be separate. They seem to be like, you can kind of read these and then you can kind of read the novel and still enjoy both of them, just because this has pictures in it and this has art, and it's written a little bit differently than the original story, and it doesn't ruin anything. This is just like, it doesn't really ruin the story for you, because it's not really things that happen in that story that are amazing, which there are, but it's just the whole journey of that story, and every stage, every port, every like place where that where the heroes go in that story is just really, really interesting. If you can find these, check out Chronicles of Amber, the comic book. If you guys already know the story of Amber, if you don't, check out the story. It's really awesome. And if you can get the comics, they're really, really cool, because they're comics and they're Chronicles of Amber. Take care, guys, and please like and subscribe to my videos, and you can watch more of my videos, which are online. You can check those out. I've got other reviews of other comics and other stories, and I hope you guys have a great day. See you later in another video.